Hi, Kringle Kim here, and may I say, oh, what a night. I just got the internet and the compute electricity back on. I was doing these broadcasts a couple hours earlier every night, and about that time every night we would have huge storms come up, dust storms and wind, and everything would go out. And of course, I was doing them at 7, about 7 o'clock my time, and of course tonight, right on schedule, here came a huge storm with lightning and everything, and rain and thunder and huge streaks of lightning, and the internet went out, and we had a microburst in our backyard, and it threw everything around in the backyard. Big heavy stuff. And so I just was able to get the internet back on, and I hope it's still, you might hear thunder and lightning in the background. So I hope this broadcast stays on. Anyway, I would, like I said, welcome. I'm Kringle Kim, and today I just wanted to talk about some things that were on the blog today, and I'm going to be doing it from memory because I read it earlier today, and I try to print it out sometimes so I can give you the exact facts, but nothing was working to print it out this evening with all the storm and everything. So I do want to start with, what is Kringle? Kringle is a private digital currency embraced by the billion coin community. For our private agreement, Kringle has a significant value today and will only increase in value with each new member that joins us. Kringle is completely detached from the public coin market and the currently established scarcity-based monetary system forced upon us by the elite ruling class with the purpose of enslavement and control. Kringle is based on abundance, not on artificial scarcity. Those who choose to join the TBC community understand the TBC vision and mission of reaching 1 billion members and ending global poverty, or poverty globally. They also understand that in order to achieve our objectives, our members must be proactive in learning from our educational blog and sharing Kringle via our cash flow system. Together we can achieve abundance for all. And yes, the message of TBC is hope and ending world poverty. And that brings us to us and sharing the TBC and making it work not only for the people we share it with and their responsibility to continue sharing it once they receive it, but to our own, ending our own poverty. Anyway, sorry about that. I do have a thing, a quote I took from, the first one I took from Albert Einstein, and it says, "I cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it." So to me is, you can change problem to challenge, but basically, you know, we have to change up ourselves when we're learning to do something new. And that kind of spoke to me. So you kind of get out of your comfort zone, have a paradigm shift, get out of your box, so to speak, turn over a new leaf. And then my other quote is taken from Gary Perkinson. Some of you may know what the MLS Bitcoin Club is, but he has WIN, W-I-N, and I like this. So W stands for willingness to learn and the willingness to change. The willingness to learn and the willingness to change. And I stands for initiative to start. Take the initiative, so I is for initiative, to start today. And then N is for never ever quit. And I know I have said that before. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. So the thing about everything is, if you want to change your life, you have to change your mind and change your thought process for the positive and take responsibility yourself for changing it. So there are a couple things that have been brought up. First of all, I would like to invite all of you that have a Sun Button to attend the Sun Button meetings with every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Daylight Time. And so what I know, if you go to the broadcast tab on the Kringle.cashback office, it has the broadcasts in the left-hand column in Filipino time, and then in the right-hand column there in Pacific time. So if you know it's Pacific time wherever you are in the world, you can adjust your clock. Anyway, he has them on at 7 a.m. every Monday morning, and there are other leaders on the program, and they would like everybody should have a Sun Button, especially now that we're all migrating to a new wallet. We were asked the 10 questions, and the 10 questions made sure that we understood the mission of TBC and Kringle, and that our Sun Button would be on. So you have your Sun Button on. Hopefully you all do, so you can do transactions and attend the Sun Button meeting. And then also, if you have a Sun Button, you decide to do a broadcast, that will also be under the Sun Button tab. And then I wanted to remind everybody, they keep bringing it up, about doing transactions. So they have asked, if you're doing transactions with other people, make sure you have a proof of the transaction, whether it's an ID transfer, an ID transaction number if you're doing it with Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum, or PayPal if you're doing it that way, or whatever it is you're having them use. Make sure you have proof of that transaction. And please don't do, they call it but bullet transactions, one right after another. Kind of wait for one transaction to be confirmed, which is a lot quicker now than before you do another transaction. And watch on the new wallet when you're doing a transaction that you're doing it in 100 USD. There is a button on the TBC009.net wallet that shows it in TBC, Kringles, USD, and euros. And so people maybe aren't changing, they're doing it in Kringles instead of USD, and that's a lot more money. And so that's coming out skewed. So make sure that you have clicked on USD so it can figure out the right amount of TBC to transfer to the purchaser. And that's what's nice about this new wallet. We don't have to figure out that amount anymore. As long as you click on USD and put your wallet into USD if you're the seller, it will figure out how much 100 is and then transfer that amount to the other wallet. And please do no more than $1,000 in transaction per transaction, or 5,000 transactions per day. And right now we're doing the 5 times until August 21st. So that may go down when August 21st comes up. So otherwise, the TBC commissioner will contact you. So transactions over $100,000, the Sun Button will be turned off first, and then the commissioner will contact you as to why before turning off your Sun Button back on. And if you are going to do a large transaction, please contact the commissioner first, and that's commissioner@thebillioncoin.info. So like if you are, there's people now that have been purchasing cars and real estate and things like that. So and make sure, especially if you're a country that doesn't use USD or euros, that you go to that place on the back office and make sure it's the correct amount that you're transferring. So, and that was good to know about contacting the commissioner, they just don't want people to be, they just want to know what's going on, make sure it isn't being discounted and so forth. But a lot of it, I'm sure, on our end is just honest mistakes. So let's see. And then the other thing, I guess, like I said, I'm kind of taking this by remembering. The blog today was about we are changing PVC from, we're going to trying to give validity, not trying, but we're changing it up, and it's becoming, they talked about the Golden Gate Bridge. They used the Golden Gate Bridge as an example. And the new cash flow system is the bridge between a fiat-based economy, which is where we're at now, to a merchant adoption campaign. And this cash flow campaign is going to last between 1 to 2 years. And what we're doing is we're selling TVC among ourselves, among the peer-to-peer community of TVC. And what's that's doing is giving validity within our group that it is a form of exchange. And that will lead down the road to merchants accepting it, and so forth and so on. So I hope I'm explaining this well. So it's just like Bitcoin for a long time. What was it? It was just cryptocurrency. Now it's not private like we are. It's publicly traded. And I guess it was traded on the dark web for a while, which kind of gave it this is the Bitcoin, not ours. The Bitcoin, I watched this video, and it was given by a government official, and she said, yes, it was used on the dark web for a while, and those people are all taken care of now. I think they're in jail. But anyway, it gave the validity to Bitcoin that it could be used as a form of exchange, a form of currency. And we are doing this in an entirely legal way now. But the fact that we're trading it and selling it among ourselves, and in the process, we're able to earn more TVC when we redeem our cookies in November, but that we are starting to use it as a form of exchange. And this will lead not only among ourselves, but to merchants within ourselves, and then merchants outside of ourselves. And we don't need confirmation from the establishment that is out there now. And in fact, we have to have the belief in ourselves that TVC is a valuable digital currency. It is the future of money. It has value. And there are people in the world. I know I read about one of our community members bought a car, and they live in the Congo, but they bought a car with TVC. In Cameroon, the gentleman bought beachfront property. And then, of course, there is the blog, and I don't have it, like I say, in front of me, but if you look up 110 tribes on the blog in the search thing and hit the magnifying glass, it'll bring up the blog on the 110 tribes in the Philippines. Now, they are their own indigenous tribes in the Philippines. They are not the Philippine government, but they, within their 110 tribes, they made PVC the legal currency within their tribal group. So this is an exciting time to be sharing and to be selling it within each other. And that's why now the new way, when we share TVC, we're going to share the gift of TVC, and then when people hit the verification link, we want to get together with them and make sure they know all about TVC, and we're going to get them to do a broadcast, pay their wallet fee, and purchase some TBC from a trusted seller so that they can earn more cookies that they can redeem for TBC in November. And I know one of the problems, I shouldn't say problem, one of the challenges even when I joined Kringle Cash for me was paying my wallet fee in Bitcoin. And it was a learning experience for me, though. I had never really known about cryptocurrency before, but it got me out there to find out where I could buy cryptocurrency. I didn't even know about Coinbase or anything at the time, but I went out there on the internet and I put in, you know, who sells cryptocurrency? And it was kind of an interesting process. And I was dealing with somebody halfway across the world, and I just say it was kind of scary for me at first, and I didn't know what I was getting into. It all worked out well, and I now know a lot about buying and wallets, and I learned about the blockchain. But this still is, for somebody brand new to cryptocurrency, this is still a thing that kind of makes it scary. It scares them away from it, that they have to buy some Bitcoin in order to pay their wallet fee. And I know some of my own members that I had bought a bunch of Bitcoin. Of course, it became a lot more interesting to buy back in December when the U.S. government put a lot of regulations in. You had to be verified and all this other stuff that I really didn't want to do. But I would use my Bitcoin for their wallet fees. You know, they would give me the cash, and then I would use my Bitcoin for it. But what's wonderful now is we have cash flow centers, and I learned right now there's 300. They want to get about 1,000. And again, if you want to look into a cash flow center, they are people within the TBC Kringle community that have a lot of Bitcoin, and you can use their Bitcoin to pay your wallet fee. So again, you're going to go in your Kringle.cash back office, and I think there's a tab that says Cash Flow Center. If not, wish I could check it on my computer. I was going to check it on my computer. But it's on your back office. If it's not Cash Flow Center, it's under, might be under your account or marketing. So you would go to your account and it'll ask if you want to pay it in Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, or PayPal. But the PayPal link is going to take you to where you would buy one of those on the web using your PayPal account. And that's how I did it originally. The person I worked with halfway across the world accepted PayPal. So that's how I bought my first Bitcoin. But it's very comforting to know that these cash flow centers, and you can actually go to the blog and put in Cash Flow Center, and they'll tell you exactly where it is. I can't remember right now. And you can go to another member of the TBC community and ask them for the money to pay your wallet fee or to buy $100 worth of TBC from a trusted seller. And I am a trusted seller, so if you want to contact me, I can do that too. But I am not a cash flow center at the time. So go there and find a cash flow center that would be near you. And they're all over the world. And for that service, though, they're going to charge you a 20% commission, which is fair because when you buy Bitcoin, you always have to pay a fee to buy the Bitcoin or the Litecoin or the Ethereum. So, and they are providing, in my mind, a very valuable service that is, you know you're buying it from somebody that's in our community and can be more trustworthy, I feel. So I just wanted to bring up those things. And basically, the Kringle is changing from the, we are in the distribution phase right now, and we are still distributing Kringle and cookies, but now we are adding the cash flow phase of Kringle. And like I said, that's where we're going to actively be exchanging, selling TVC within our own community. And of course, our fiat-based economy right now is the U.S. dollar, and our fiat means faith-based money. You have faith, that'll be worth something. And the back of the dollar bill says, "In God we trust." Otherwise, it may not be worth anything. But we are going from that economy to the cryptocurrency economy. And we will be spending 1 to 2 years in this transformation. So I thought the Golden Gate Bridge, again, was a wonderful symbol, or a wonderful way of explaining it. The first pillar of the Golden Gate Bridge, you know how it's really tall, and then it has the big span between the two towers at either end. So right now we're in a fiat-based economy, and the bridge itself, you know, the roadway, I had a car break down on the Golden Gate Bridge once. And at the other end, the tower is the merchant adoption campaign, when we're spending it in our, you know, not only in our TVC community, but with other merchants. And during this time, if you know any merchants that would take TVC for payment or partial payment, that would be wonderful too. But anyway, that roadway between the fiat economy and the merchant-based economy is our cash flow campaign. And like the growing pains that the Bitcoin went through, this really isn't a growing pain, but it's a growing experience of making TVC work within our own community. So, again, we are rethinking the nature of money. Focus on our mission by sharing. Focus on getting 1 billion members. TVC is valuable within itself. And while you're doing all this, I hope you're all learning to get out of your comfort zone. Go to the Kringle.cash blog or back office. There's lots of information there. If you go, there's the education button that will take, tab that'll take you to the blog. You can also reach the blog by going to blog.billioncoin.info. So you don't need to log into your back office to access the blog that way. And then there's all kinds of videos and everything on the Kringle.cash back office. You have, of course, the dashboard, the mission of TVC. Under marketing, there's a couple more videos, and then there are a lot of training videos there. And then just spend a lot of time, if you haven't ever spent a lot of time looking around the Kringle.cash back office, it's good to know what all the tabs are for. Now, if you don't have a send button tab coming up, that means for some reason your send button isn't active on your new wallet. So make sure you go back and make sure you've answered the 10 questions, and get your send button turned on somehow. And it might come on in a couple days. And if it doesn't, the send button thing isn't going to show up on your thing. But as soon as your send button's on, then the send button tab will show up on your Kringle.cash back office. And then, of course, at the bottom is the FAQ, the frequently asked questions, and that should answer a lot of your questions. But also the broadcasters are available for questions. And there's a lot of people, if you go to the send button meeting, you can ask a question on the send button meeting. I know a lot of the people that do broadcasts outside of the broadcasting blog, they usually have a chat on that you can ask questions. Contact your sponsor, and if your sponsor doesn't know, the person who gave you the gift, ask them for their sponsor. And I know I also have broadcaster leads, and I have sent those out to people. And it's a good way to, if people want to buy from me, But also, if they have any questions, I send them an email and they can email me back, or they can text me and ask me a question. So there's no reason not to have your questions answered. And just keep persisting. Remember, winners never quit and quitters never win. So let's be winners that never quit. And trying to think of the name I learned that guy from. I have to write it down. I'm sorry. But I did get that from a wonderful motivational speaker. So I'll give him credit. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I am so happy that the electricity is still on and my internet is still on. And I have a big mess out in the backyard and the front yard to go clean up. That'll have to wait till tomorrow. But anyway, have a great day and stay safe. And let's all be winners. Good night.